Hi everyone, this is Anchal Soni. Welcome to my channel. In this video of Tableau Fundamental series, I'll be talking about live and extract connections. Let's first understand what is a connection. You have a workbook and you fetch the data from your data source. Now, this data source can be directly your database, like it can be your SQL Server or Redshift or any other database, right? So you can communicate directly to your database from your workbook. This is called a connection. So this communication that you do from your workbook while you interact with your dashboard through the filters or any other actions that you do. A SQL query is generated by Tableau workbook in the backend, and that query is triggered on the database. Now, there are two ways of doing this. Either you can have a live connection or an extract connection. At a time, you can choose only one type of connection for a data source. Let's understand the live connection with this visual representation. In live connection, so the example that I've just given, that suppose you have Redshift database, and that is where your data resides. When you apply a filter in your Tableau workbook, a query is generated and triggered to directly to Redshift. So all the connection details and everything is passed, and then the data is fetched from Redshift, brought back to Tableau, and your dashboard gets filtered out. This is what exactly happens. It is useful when you have frequently changing data. So, in one of the real time projects, I've seen live connection was used, and the reason was the workbook was used across multiple time zones, and it was not feasible to continuously refresh the workbook as the data was changing quite frequently. That's why live connection was chosen. And any user sitting in any corner of the world can access the latest data from the workbook. So but live connections are uh, resource wise taxing. These make Tableau workbooks slightly slower because you're directly communicating to the database. So it is recommended to use live connections only when you have frequently changing data, you have less filters in your Tableau workbook, your workbook's performance is not getting impacted by this connection. So there are several parameters which you need to take into consideration. Now let's understand extract connection type. So in this type of connection, a local copy of your data set is saved. Suppose you're using two tables, there's a join between these two tables. You choose the extract connection, and the data which is there in these two tables would get saved locally in your system as an extract file, and whatever interactions that happen through your Tableau workbook would be triggered directly to this extract file instead of the database directly. So in this sense, this communication becomes quite faster, and it is recommended to use extract connections when you don't have frequently changing data, or maybe you don't want to show that frequently changing data. Like my previous example, there are no users sitting in multiple time zones who want to access the same workbook. I have majorly seen people using extract connections only. It is quite faster in comparison to live connection, and yeah, so just try and figure out your situation and see which connection works best for you. Now let's see these connection types in Tableau workbook. So I'll try to connect to data, sample superstore. Um, by default, you see this has got connected through a live connection. So this is the representation for live connection. You can check this at data source page here. This is the live connection. You can change this to an extract. Um, Remember one thing, this sample superstore Excel file, the data is quite limited. This is not the amount of data that we use in real time projects. We have millions of rows in our real time projects. That's why maybe with this sample file you won't be able to figure out a difference between these two connections. If you have got access to real time data, then try this out over there where you have huge amount of data. Now, in live connection, so as soon as your data gets updated in your database, and the data isn't getting reflected instantly, then what you do is just right click over here and click on refresh. The latest data will show up in your workbook. Ideally, it happens automatically, but it takes some time. But if you are working in your workbook and you want to see the data instantly, and if it hasn't happened automatically, then just refresh it this way. Now let's see the extract connection type. I switch to extract. Now I will switch to sheet 1 because I want to start working. Tableau has given me a pop-up to save this data. So this is what will happen when you are connected to any of your database and you want to switch to your extract connection. There will be a pop-up wherein it will ask you to save the data locally. So let me just save this. Yes, replace it. So here, this is the representation for an extract. You see that we have it didn't take us long to switch from data source page to sheet 1, but in real time projects wherein we have millions of rows, it takes time. It can be either 40 minutes, 1 hour. I have seen it takes sometimes 3 hours as well to switch from data source page to sheet 1 because Tableau workbook is saving the data as a local copy meanwhile. So just try this out if you have this huge amount of data set. I'm switching back to extract over here. Let's explore the options, extract options that we have over here. Um, Logical and physical tables, this is related to relationships. Over here, now you have two types of refreshes that you can do in your extract. Since your extract is a local copy, any changes that happen in your database originally don't get reflected until unless you refresh the data. Um, and how you refresh the data? Just go here, right click, extract, and refresh. The first refresh is for live connection, and the second one, this one, is for extract. Now, there can be two ways of refreshing the data, incremental refresh or full refresh. Full refresh means your entire data set will get refreshed as per what is there in your database. As per incremental refresh, um, I'll switch to incremental refresh. It will ask me which table you want to refresh and identify new rows using columns. So it will ask you for a column according to which it should identify um, where you have the new rows. Okay, so suppose I have data in my data set, the order date was 25th of January, and now I want to load data from 26th January until today. I'll do incremental refresh based on order date, and Tableau will identify that the rows from 26th January until 30th January are missing. So that's how it will do the refresh. You have an ability to choose this option when you try to publish the data set or workbook, but I'm showing this just over here. I'm clicking cross over here now. All right. So this was all about live and extract connections. A task for you is, uh, if you have the real time data set, try out these two types of connections. Just create a simple visualization like profit by segment. Let's not do segment, let's do customer name. All right, and let's apply a filter on product product name. All right, and just try to do this in this one. And if you have the real time data set, just build a sample visualization and try it over here. That's all for this video. If you like my videos, like my content, then do share it across and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it already. Thank you.